Hey everyone, I'm going to show you part 2 of applying epoxy. So the 2 cups I did in my first video, they've cured already, but what I am going to do is I'm going to sand them down lightly to get any type of like bumps or anything that you might feel through the epoxy. And then after I sand them both real lightly, I'm going to wash them with soap and water. I will be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and go wash them. All right guys, I already have my cups washed with soap and water. They're dried, and now I'm trying to get the footballs in there so I can get the PVC pipe in and I can get them back on their turner. Now keep in mind, step 2 or part 2 is kind of a repeat of the first video, except now you're not working off of like a bare cup because there's obviously already a cured layer of epoxy. So you're pretty much just gonna follow the same steps as the first video. Alright guys, I want you to look at how this cup looks. Don't be afraid if your cup looks like this after you sand it. You see the scratches and stuff. It will go away once you apply your epoxy, so there's no need to panic. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get my epoxy so we can get started on the mixing. Sorry guys, my throat's hurting me. Remember, you want to measure equal parts. Again, like I said in my first video, I do measure in separate measuring cups. I will post the link below on the measuring cups. I believe I have a link for gloves and for the epoxy that I'm using in this video. I also do apply heat, as I mentioned in my first video, to the epoxy. And I do that probably 10 minutes before I even start measuring. To me, it just makes the consistency of the epoxy flow better, I guess. I don't know what better way to say it, but it just works for me. So yes, again, we're repeating the same steps as we did in the first video. And I will also post a link to my first video in case you haven't seen it. So let's go ahead and finish mixing or measuring, and then we'll start the mixing. Alright guys, I'm already done measuring. I'm applying a little bit of heat with the heat gun that I bought at Hobby Lobby. I believe you can find it at Harbor Freight as well. I'm going to clean this silicone cup so I can make sure that there's no residue or anything in it. And I just use the rubbing alcohol that you just saw me hold up. After I get it clean, I'm going to pour in my B first and then my A. And I want to mix it with the wooden stick that I have from Walmart. As you can see, I am mixing it here. I usually mix it for about 4 to 5 minutes, as I mentioned in the first video. The heat helps get rid of any air bubbles if there is any. So it's your preference whether you want to use it or not. I prefer to use it. Alright guys, now I am going to get some alcohol, put very little in my hands, and I'm just going to rub it along the cup. Again, I use very little, and to me it just helps get rid of any like a dust or anything that might be on the cup. And since I use very little, it doesn't take long to dry. So after I do this to both cups, I'm going to start applying my epoxy. I'm going to use the finger method, which is me pretty much dipping my finger into the silicone cup and pouring little by little onto the cup, just like I did in the first video. You want to be sure how much you're applying towards the rim of the cup, just so that none falls in there. You can choose to tape off the inside of your cup. You can choose not to. Either way, it's an easy cleanup. So it's all up to you how you want to do it. And you just want to apply it evenly throughout the cup. Keep in mind that whatever turner you decide to use, make sure that it's leveled, because if not, your epoxy is going to cure unleveled, and that's not what you want. So yeah, see, I'm just applying it smoothly on, and if you pay close attention, you don't really see the scratch marks and stuff anymore. So this is why I said don't panic, like it'll go away once you start applying your epoxy. Alright guys, I'm pretty much done with this cup, so now I'm going to move on to my next cup and apply the epoxy. The same way that I did to this cup with my finger and smoothly applying it on. Alright guys, well, I'm pretty much done. So now I'm gonna let it spin for about 4 to 5 hours, and then I just take it off and I let it sit there to finish drying. Sometimes I let it spin for 6, it just depends. So hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye guys.